Welcome to Auto Tech Labs. Let's see how a car engine cooling system works. A car engine is basically an internal combustion engine where power is generated through expansion of high temperature and high pressure gases. A lot of heat is generated due to the combustion gas and the friction of mechanical parts. For sustained operation, these excess heat should be removed from the engine and kept at operating temperature. Now let's see the parts involved in cooling the engine. The main parts for cooling the engine are water pump, radiator, thermostat, coolant temperature sensor, and coolant. First, the water pump. Water pump is the heart of the cooling system, which pumps the coolant. It consists of an impeller, a pulley flange, and an O-ring. The impeller is driven by the engine drive belt through a pulley. Next, the radiator. The radiator is a heat exchanger used to transfer the excess heat developed by engine to the atmosphere. The radiator is having an inlet port, outlet port, a drain plug, and a radiator pressure cap. The radiator pressure cap plays a vital role in the cooling system, which will be explained later. Next, the thermostat. The thermostat is a valve which regulates the flow of the coolant and helps to maintain the proper operating temperature for the engine. The thermostat consists of a frame, charge cylinder, main valve, main spring, bypass valve, and secondary spring. Next, the coolant temperature sensor. The coolant temperature sensor is used to monitor the engine temperature. The ECU will use this data to manage fuel injection and ignition time. Some engines have more than one coolant temperature sensor. The data is also used to control the radiator fan and to update the temperature gauge on the driver console. The coolant temperature sensor consists of a sensing probe and an electrical connector. Most coolant temperature sensors are negative temperature coefficient type, which means as the temperature increases, the resistance will decrease. The CTS can be a 2-pin type, or a 3-pin type, depending on the make of the vehicle. These are the main parts involved in an engine cooling system. Now, let's see how these parts works together. The pistons are contained inside the engine block, in which each of them will function. Above the engine block comes the head gasket, which provides sealing between engine block and engine head. It avoids compression leaks and oil or coolant leaks into the cylinders. Above that comes the engine head. The engine is having a safe passage through which the coolant can flow without entering into the cylinder or mixing up with the oil. This passage is known as water jacket. Let's put the parts one by one and see how it works. The water pump pumps the coolant throughout the system with the help of the radial impeller. It is driven by the engine itself, using a serpentine belt. The serpentine belt also drives the power steering pump, alternator, AC compressor. But for now only water pump is shown. Now let's see the connections. The thermostat bypass hose. The thermostat housing. Inside the thermostat. The radiator, and the radiator fan. The lower radiator hose.